Now, let's talk about grassroots leadership and politics, devolution, from the angle of devolution. We are joined by two civic leaders from Mombasa County. One of them is Patrick Mbele. He is the member representing the people of Bamburi Ward in the County Assembly of Mombasa. And Abdulrahman Hussein is representing Old Town in the County Assembly of Mombasa. Waheshimiwa, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Eric.
Karibuni sana. This is the hot seat of the situation room. Hebu sema hot seat na Kiswahili, Abdulrahman.
Kiti joto. Ama kiti moto. Inatupa joto yani. That is what it means.
Patrick, how would you say that? This is the hot seat of the situation room. Sasa sema kwa Kiswahili.
Hiki ndicho kiti moto katika sehemu ya maongezi.
Alright. Sawa basi.
Basi tu.
Basi.
Labda ndio hivyo, sijui.
Wewe ndio umetufunza bana. Sisi hatujui bana.
Lakini Abdulrahman anatoka Old Town kule kwa Swahili vizuri.
Kule deep.
Kule deep. Sasa atuambie kabisa.
Abdulrahman.
I think he said it better. Yeah. I can't say it better than that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, CT will give you the day's proverb. He says this week and last week and probably next week as well.
I will do it for up to next week, and then we'll move on to yes.
He's giving us proverbs from landlocked countries in Africa. Mheshimiwa Abdulrahman, give me one landlocked country in Africa.
On top of my head,
And
Uganda.
Don't say Uganda.
Okay. DRC Congo?
No, it's not.
It is not?
No.
A landlocked country, maybe Nigeria.
No.
It's not again?
Nope.
Okay. A landlocked country, in my opinion, is... Okay, what I understand is a country that does not border any water body, right?
Large water body.
Large water.
Ocean.
It should be large.
Yes, large.
Lakes don't count.
Lakes are within the country,
Don't count.
Yes.
Sudan.
Patrick, we're coming to you.
Sudan.
Sudan?
Good.
Yes.
Sudan, no.
So no. South Sudan.
Very good.
Yeah, South Sudan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick, no, wewe?
I take Chad.
And don't say Uganda.
No. Chad.
You take Chad.
Chad and the Central African Republic, if I'm not wrong. Are they?
Baba, geography ilikutatiza kidogo ulipokuwa shule?
I didn't take geography, by the way. I did history.
Basi ndio hiyo sasa.
Yeah.
It's showing.
Is Chad wrong?
No.
Chad is right.
He's right.
That is right.
Chad is landlocked, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done, Mheshimiwa. Well done.
You're both right.
No more questions.
Botswana is also...
Botswana is landlocked.
It's landlocked.
Botswana, eh?
Yeah.
Incidentally, City.
The proverbs for this week are from Botswana. Yes.
Okay.
Eyes can see widely. They can cross a river in full flood.
Wow.
Eyes can see widely. They can
Cross a river in
cross
full
the
flood.
river in full flood.
See, the good thing about Proverbs is you can never get them wrong. It is from your own perspective. And this proverb, in my opinion, speaks to the power of vision and how far vision can take you there. So when you say, for instance, say that again, please.
Eyes can see widely. They can cross a river in full flood.
Yes, before you take any action, before you cross the river, before you cross any water body, you have to visualize it. Before you overcome any barrier, you have to visualize it first. You have to have the vision.
Good one.
That's my thinking.
Good one. But Mbele.
The other side of that proverb is that in the physical nature, eyes are meant to make you see. So if you do not open your eyes, you do not see the barrier. Same to what he said, vision. That this proverb speaks about vision and the power of having vision. If you do not open your eyes, then you don't see the barrier ahead of you, which means probably you cannot or never cross.
Sawa basi.
These two gentlemen got it.
Wameifafanua fiti kabisa.
Very well. Very, very well. So your experience in the County Assembly of Mombasa, how many times have you served, Abdulrahman?
This is my first term.
Patrick?
Same to me. First time.
First time.
Yes.
What made you get into this elective politics, and why? Why MCA? The Constitution actually calls this position what? Ward representative.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Should I
take it
go first?
Go first.
I got into politics because I was tired of complaining. I was tired of apportioning blame to everyone. I was fed up with the system. I was fed up with the way things were running, especially in my area. And I thought the best way to do it is to throw the hat in the ring. And I got into the ring, and it feels as hot as this seat.
What did you want to change?
I wanted to change everything. That's basically why I joined politics. But then I
Everything
thought,
in Old Town, or everything in Mombasa, or everything in Kenya?
okay, I wanted to start with Old Town first.
Mm.
Yeah. An MCA is the basic unit of devolution. It is the basic position where you can interact with, where you have a direct contact with the electorates. So I wanted to feel what it feels like to be in contact with the electorates, to get their views, and to represent them well in the assembly. So that's the reason I joined politics, to make a difference.
Patrick?
Mine was a different reason. I used to work in government between 2013 and 2022. And
County or national government?
County government, actually of Mombasa. And I used to see how things are running. Some I was okay with, some was not okay with. And I told myself, if I'm to deal with the ones that I'm not okay with, I probably need to get into that assembly and do something. But the larger reason was I was a blue economy activist. At that time, blue economy was just a new buzzword. So I had friends who would take me through what blue economy is about. And I thought, if I get into that place, probably I might be able to implement this thing, this big giant called blue economy, probably to its either conclusion or make it beneficial for the people that I have. And at that time, I was also a student leader. So I understood that these students who are getting out of school, there's no other chance they're going to get, probably particularly in Mombasa. So I thought blue economy, and I can only implement it when I'm at the assembly. That was the reason I got into that place.
You mean in the executive you couldn't?
There was a lot.
What is it that's different that the assembly can do that the executive cannot?
The assembly actually, leave alone on matters of checking up what the executive is doing, but we usually plan development from the assembly. It's more of the steering of government. So if the steering is not well, prepared and taken to the right direction, the entire government falls. So is the programs.
So you both agree, basically, that the county assembly, which comprises the ward reps, those are the ones who are actually the basic unit of development.
No doubt about that.
Right? Do the citizens understand that?
Well,
is that the same perception that citizens have of their ward rep, the MCA, and the assembly?
To be honest, in the eyes of the citizens, we play a different role.
And what role is this?
Apart from the roles in the Constitution, we play a different role. An MCA is a first line of savior, is the first line of rescue to your ward reps. You are that person that they run to in case of any issue, be it economical, be it social. You are that person that they run to whenever they get into problems and they feel like you can do magic and you can get things done. That's what it feels like to be an MCA.
And what kind of solution? Are they looking for you to provide a pathway to a solution, or are they looking at you to be the solution?
Ideally, they should look for us to be the pathway to solutions. But they want you to be the solution and give them the solutions on the spot.
There and then.
There and then.
Patrick, is it the same for you?
Yeah, and I think even from the topic that you have today, you've talked about grassroots leadership. I think an MCA is the true grassroots leader. The rest are leaders. But the MCA is a grassroots leader. And as he says, we are the first line of defense, first line of attack, first line of rescue. Mwananchi akitaka kulaumu, first person alaumu is the MCA. Akitaka msaada, first person, wakati ni mgonjwa anakuja kwako. Akitaka sasa kukaa na wewe kupiga story, they can only find the MCA on ground. So the MCA is the SI unit of leadership and the true grassroots leader.
Then I think the citizen understands very well the role of the MCA.
Not
really.
I don't think
Because what you've explained, if that is what the citizen understands, what's wrong with that?
But that is not the role of the MCA.
What is the role of the MCA?
3 basic roles.
Okay.
The legislation,
Okay.
representation,
Okay.
and oversight.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is that different from those things that you've said?
Totally different.
How?
Eric, we bear the brunt of political frustrations. They can't reach to the MP because the MP is not around. They definitely can't get hold of the governor. Because the governor is somewhere, you need to book an appointment with. The women rep, well, you can say it. For the senator and the president, they can't get hold of them. So you are the person that they run to.
As the first representative.
So
they come to you as the representative.
Yes.
For you to play your role as a representative.
True.
Then?
But now you see, they come to you not just for representation, but they equally demand for resources. And the resources at that moment is hard cash, not budgeted money. They want hard cash there and then, or a solution there and then.
Okay. This brings in the question of, when you look at your constituents, their understanding of what a representative should do, you put it well, to meet their needs. Somebody has an economic problem, health problem to do with education, all these things. Now, don't you then think that perhaps the task that you have before you is to get your constituents to understand, one, not just your role, but what it is that the government or the county of Mombasa, what that should do for them?
Exactly as you say.
I'm asking, should you not then get them to understand? Because everything you've told me, you've said, indicates that they actually, if they understand it, it's a remote understanding. What they understand is the immediacy that you speak of.
Yes, and rightly so. That brings the aspect of civic education. And that is what we normally engage in most of our time. You see, when devolution came, a lot of things were transitions. Buildings were transitioned. The human resource aspect was transitioned. But information was not transitioned. Civic education was not transitioned. And that leaves a gap in educating the electorates on the roles and what to expect of their leaders. And that's where we come in. We engage them. That's why we try to educate them. This is the much that I can do. This is how I can represent you better. But I am not mandated to do this and that. Yeah.
I'm not the one to offer that solution directly. It shall come to you through the government.
Yes.
Because that's the role of the government.
True.
Okay.
The role
Now,
of the executive, yeah.
I see that as just citizens are demanding services from the government. Okay? Now, if, and what's the genesis of this? The genesis of this is that there's frustration. They feel that the government does not provide the services as it should. National government is not providing the services that it should be providing. County government is not providing the services that it should be providing. Let's say county government, in terms of healthcare, all the way basic healthcare to the health center level, right? Where if I feel that I need health services, I will walk to a health center. I will get all the services at that health center. I will go back home. Now, because I don't get that, I have to take my family member to Coast General Hospital or to the nearest private hospital where I'll accrue bills. I have to pay the bills. That's why I'll come to my representative. I hear what them saying. They're just expressing their frustration that I expect to be getting a service. I'm not getting a service. So now that I put you there so that you can make sure I'm getting the service, so can you sort me out in the interim as you...
Or have you considered that you are considered to be part of the executive?
Exactly the point. And I think, right from what he said, that so much was devolved. And the physical and fiscal is what the Mwananchi understands well. But when it came to roles of leaders, during the transition time, it was not well defined who is doing what. And that is one of the things that, as you say, bedevils devolution to date. So much is still hanging when it comes to information to the people. So until now, they still understand that an MCA is actually part of executive and should provide that which executive is supposed to provide. Not forgetting that we plan for the executive, give them the mandate to now deliver to the people. So when the executive fails, now they come back to us.
But then there are those who are of this firm belief that anyone who purports to be a politician, whether you're an MCA or a member of parliament or a senate or a governor or even a president, it is this class of individuals in the country who give the citizen the impression that it is them who are the solution. Not the system, them, individually, personally. Mimi. When you're campaigning, how many things did you tell people you are going to do for them?
Well, we promised that we're going to make some changes in their lives through better policies, better laws, through proper oversight. That's exactly
Did you include those the latter part in your?
In my manifesto, I had them.
But when you were meeting with the people,
everybody has them in their manifesto.
when you were engaging the people,
When I was engaging them as
in
well.
Old Town,
Yes.
and you tell them, hapa hivi maji, tutatatua maji.
True.
Were you saying nitaenda kule, nitahakikisha kuna budget, nitahakikisha there's proper procurement ambayo italete maji, or were you saying italete maji?
What I said in my case is that I'll make sure that the responsible people will carry out the duties. I'll hold them personally responsible. Nitahakikisha kwamba serikali imewajibika.
You
Get it?
This one wants to look good on radio. Where politicians always make anything that has to do with progress them. You're telling us that you guys are different.
You know what happened? And the reason I think why you were elected at this age. Myself, in a list of almost 25 aspirants.
25.
25. I think I was the youngest.
Those are many.
Yes.
No.
How old were you when you were elected, Patrick?
I was 31.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Abdulrahman?
I was 33.
And how many candidates?
10 or 11 candidates. 11 candidates.
So in my case,
Yes.
of the many 25, you see, everybody still has the notion that politics is now you go tell people, I have money, I'll solve everything. At my age, I told them, I do not have enough money to sort your problems. But there's a system here that we need to work together to make sure that we get it from the system. And I told them, I probably will not even have money to give you tomorrow. But there's this system that we can work together through public participation and all that. So what we did was to open their eyes to know that government has what you need.
Government has the resources.
Has the resources.
Yes.
So at that moment, they realize, oh, this guy probably knows where the money is. And that is why probably they elected us. My
Okay.
thinking.
So if they understood it so well, why are they demanding different now?
So you see what the expectation, the immediate expectation is that, yes, you told us there's money. And you
We
go,
expected to go
yeah,
come with
go,
the money.
go pick it and bring the money here.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not the development.
it's not the development.
They thought, sasa tumekutuma wewe, Patrick, kwenda pale chukua pesa zetu.
Yes. Sasa amekuja anataka kumpe yake.
Looks like it got.
Hata kasha yake.
Yeah. But the good thing is now, in as much as we face those problems, I don't think we face them as the leaders that came before us. Slowly, the people are coming to understand that the government has monies for them, for their development, and for other solutions. The levels at which they come demanding for money from us nowadays, kuna zile ambazo is very genuine. Somebody tells you, I understand that it's your salary, but I'm just asking. My child is out of school today. I don't have enough. As I'm waiting for the bursary, please nisaidie na kidogo barudi. See, that's the humanity in politics. But kuna ile ingine ile ya kitambo, they come to your door and knock and lazima utupe. Kama una, at least now I can tell them, leo sina, let's wait for the end of the month. When I have something, I can give you. And they would understand.
Nimekujia chai mimi, sijakunywa chai.
Hiyo iko pia, mara moja moja.
Oh, yes.
Let's take a break. It's 26 minutes to 10. This morning we are talking about grassroots leadership and politics, trying to understand what bedevils devolution, what works and what doesn't work. Patrick Mbele is the member of the County Assembly for Bamburi Ward in Mombasa. Abdulrahman Hussein is for Old Town Ward in Mombasa. Both are young leaders in the County Assembly of Mombasa. Serving their first term, they got in there, they had a passion to change things, they had a passion to make sure that things are working, and then wakafika kwa ground.
Ground is different.
But maybe they're still working, and you'll tell us.
Yes.
Good morning. Keep it here. Conversation continues with, well, we've been told not to call you Mheshimiwa, with Watumishi. Mtumishi Patrick Mbele from Bamburi Ward in Mombasa, and Abdulrahman Hussein from Old Town Ward in Mombasa as well. It's about grassroots leadership and politics and marrying between the people's expectations, the constitutional provisions, and your own limitations in terms of what can and cannot be done immediately. Just getting to get all those things working. Now, I think one of the things that, like we said, people express their frustration to you, and also they come with the immediate demands. And they're saying, you know what, right now, like you said, Patrick, schools are going to be opening, someone needs to pay school fees, they don't have money to pay school fees, but they know that there's a bursary fund in government. And they come to you and they say, all right, so now that bursary is not sorting me out. So as young leaders, what do you see as the solution to fast-tracking what should be done by government, and also to ensuring that a higher percentage of the budget that the county assembly makes, because you're the ones who make and approve the budget for the executive, that a bigger percentage goes towards service delivery and not into those recurrent expenditures, because that's what happens, right? And you've been there, Patrick. It's all on recurrent expenditure. X 100 billion shillings for travel, X million shillings to facilitate MCAs, X millions of shillings to facilitate the executive, kulipa stima, kununua gari. The amount of money that ends up going to health, kidogo. Amount of money that ends up going to early childhood education, kidogo. Agriculture, kidogo. Actual service delivery is minimized. Abdulrahman, how do you...
Actually, there's a provision in the Constitution, the PFM Act 2012, Section 15, subsection 2, that says that at least a minimum of 35% of the county budget shall be allocated to development. But on the ground, things are different, totally different. There's a ballooning wage bill. There's an ever-expanding recurrent budget. So we try to balance things out. But like you said, our role is to budget and appropriate. So to the best of our ability, we try to prioritize the areas we feel like we need to address, areas like health, education, infrastructure, and promoting tourism. Those are the areas that I feel like we have prioritized in Mombasa County. So yeah, our role is to make sure that those funds are appropriated well.
I'm always confused. Sorry to interrupt. I'm always confused with the terminologies and the definitions, and you can help us here. When you talk about recurrent and development, does recurrent mean salaries and mandas and chai, or does recurrent also include buying medicine for hospitals?
Buying medicine is a recurrent.
Okay.
It's not a development.
Bus.
It's something you do it.
Because it's a recurrent, right?
Bursary is a recurrent.
Is a recurrent.
Yes.
So how much of the actual, and that is well, those are the ones I call service delivery recurrent expenditures.
Yes.
Because once you ensure that there is enough money that's been allocated to buy medicine and other supplies in hospitals, to ensure that children are going to school and actually goes into education itself, that is service delivery. But how much of the recurrent expenditure in a budget of a county, of any county, actually goes to those service delivery aspects and not to buying mandazi, to buying more vehicles, to facilitating external and internal, local travel?
Eric, you make it seem like buying mandazis is an evil thing.
Nice.
It is not.
No. Not at the expense
No.
of a syringe in a hospital.
Of course. I'm not. I'm saying that buying mandazi is not as essential as service delivery. But offices have to be filled, people have to be motivated, but above all, services have to be delivered. So, like you said, recurrent budget includes salaries, the personal emoluments, wages, and all that. And the Constitution is very clear that it is given at a ceiling of about 30%.
Yep.
Let me just take it up from him. You see, when you said that we make the budget and then probably later say it is okay or not, that is passing it. But the truth of the matter is what happens in most counties, the executive comes with a proposal.
Okay.
It makes the budget, comes with it as a big document, as a proposal, and then which is then committed to the Committee of Finance, who was supposed to go for public participation. Then afterwards, come back to the House, report to us that this is what the people have said is okay, then you pass it. So the basic person who sits in the chambers of Parliament or the Assembly, who is a normal MCA who's not part of the budgetary committee, most of the time interacts with the document, either during the public participation or when it comes in during report reading and hearing. But the executive comes in with a proposal.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this proposal sometimes might or might not favor the people. And that is where the MCAs now come in to rescue the people. But here comes in the other bitter part that probably we all need to now have a discussion about. That the executive sometimes holds all these MCAs into a corner where then you have to abide with their proposal.
How do they do that?
How do they do that? Now, we are a bunch of how many? 41? 41?
Yeah, plus elected.
41, that is elected and nominated. Now, 41, everybody has interest for their ward. I have an interest for my ward. He has interest for his ward. Now, if the proposal favor my ward, then I will vote for it. So that is me plus the 11 nominated, because nominated speak for government. They speak for the ruling party. The ruling party is the executive. So you expect the 11 to really be in to say yes, plus myself who has a few goodies for my ward, himself who has a few goodies for the ward. So if we have 13 people, which is a quorum, the executive have their way.
Okay.
You know.
How many wards does the Mombasa County have?
30 wards.
30 wards.
Right. There is this budget that has proposed, that has been brought in by the executive. Walk us through how it is you go to the public to participate in this budget. I'd like to understand.
Okay.
I can take that. I happen to sit at the Finance, Budget and Appropriation Committee. So yeah, this is how it happens. The executive develops a proposal. It does public participation. It's taken to the cabinet. It's forwarded to the assembly. The first thing we do, we look at it. It's committed to the Committee on Budget and Appropriation. We also hold a public participation. Normally, a public participation, it's done at sub-county level, at constituency level, whereby the public is called and we tell them this is the document before us. We do validation. Is this what you've agreed with the county government? And necessary amendments, necessary proposals, submissions are made. And then we take it back to the county assembly. We draft a report to accommodate those changes. We also interact with the elected leaders at the assembly level, and we come to a consensus most of the time that, hey, this is what we have before us, and this is what have been allocated to this particular ward, this is what have been allocated in terms of roads, in terms of improvement of infrastructure. What do you guys think? So we deliberate there as well, but we also we give emphasis to the submissions we receive from the public. That is that.
And you're saying that this is carried out through all the 30 wards, 31 wards?
No, we might not have the funds, the budget to carry out in all the wards.
So what do you do?
But we do it
exactly?
at constituency level. For example, we have 6 constituencies in Mombasa. We do it at Vita, we do it at Likoni. Another public participation is done in Jomvu, Changamu, and Kisauni, and Nyali.
So at sub-county level.
At sub-county level.
How do you ensure that all the wards in that sub-county are represented in the meeting?
We try to publicize it. The constitution requires that we publish it in.
How do you publicize it? Just walk us through it. What do you do?
We do it through the Gazette notice. Some of us we do it through our social media platforms. We use our office. We use our office to get the message out to the electorates in my ward, on other wards. So that's literally how we mobilize.
Do you use radio?
Yes, we use local radios as well.
How many local radios are there?
A couple of them. I don't have the
The reason
exact
why we
number.
asked this question is because, you see, we started by asking about the civic education. Yes, you have a budget. You will go through it. Of the people, the number of people whom you present this to in the various sub-counties that we have, yes, you will present it, but do you have an opportunity to get feedback as to what it is they think and know about what has been presented? And how does this feedback come back?
Probably.
Yes.
I'd ask a question before I ask you a question. Have you ever been to any public participation?
Have I
for the
ever
budget?
been to any public participation
And to
for
end
the budget?
For the budget?
For the budget.
No
No.
budget.
For your ward?
No.
Now, that is where now we have our biggest problem. The normal public participation that happen, whether at the constituency level or even sometimes when I go to my own grassroots level, because sometimes we do. I have done one. I'll be very honest, I've done one. And I call it a Bamburi People's Baraza. I sat down with them, took them through the budget, and told them, this is what is there. Do you agree? And they'd say, no, we don't agree with this and don't agree with that. I make a memorandum, which I present during the constituency level, sub-county level. But now, the problem is, most of the times, when the executive comes for public participation, and even the county assembly, those that show up for those public participations are the political friends of ours
Right.
and of the other parties. So the other parties come to say no, and our parties come to say yes. So the clash,
So it's a shouting match.
it's a shouting match. So it's not about development anymore. It's
Right.
about
But it's about civic education. You see, the reason why we started off with how you get to educate your people. If I do not think whatever it is you've asked me to attend is not going to be of benefit to me, that is determined by the knowledge I have. Do people understand that the participation in this activity is actually of benefit to them, and that there is a direct benefit to them saying we want this, we don't want this, so that even when you're rolling out whatever is in the budget, they can say this is what we wanted and we're getting it, or we asked for it and we're not getting it.
Yes, therein comes the big elephant in the room, in that we take the views from the public, we document it. For example, I'll give you a case example. On the last finance bill that we had, the issue of Mogoka was a big topic in Mombasa County. The public participation that we went to, some section of the public vehemently supported that we increase the levies on Mogoka significantly, while others, the Miraa traders and the Mogoka sellers, were of the opinion that, hey, we are in business, you guys need to listen to us as well. So we had to balance that out. For example, in Nyali, Kongowea, where the sellers are, definitely the Mogoka conversation, they were in favor of reduction of prices. But you'll come to Mvita, people will say, no, we don't want it.
We don't want Mogoka
We
here.
don't want Mogoka here, in fact. In fact, the conversation of Mogoka started at the assembly. It started with the finance committee. And we did that because there was an outcry, especially in all the sub-counties. So we had to hike the prices. We had to listen to the public. Although, yeah, at the end of the day, the majority will have their way.
So there was adequate public participation on that particular issue,
It was done.
right?
Yes.
The people who were feeling strongly about it came out and they spoke. They said, here on this particular one, we are opposed or we are for. Okay. Now, you talked about the manner in which you publicize this. You use your own social media accounts, then you'll go to the meeting. Ahead of the meeting, what kind of mobilization is happening? You said there's publishing the Gazette notice. Okay, not many people will see that. Then you will go to radio stations. Is it always that there will be an announcement on the local radios ahead of this in good time to say, come one, come all to such and such place for public participation on budget? Or is it limited?
It is.
Does the county assembly have its own social media accounts and other platforms where people who are not able to come and they're not able to just write those long memoranda to submit in whatever format can actually have a platform where they come and comment?
Actually, to be fair, to be honest, our public participation has not been as engaging as we anticipated it to be. Normally, when you go for a public participation, you expect a room full of people who want to contribute to that particular bill. But what you find out is similar faces, same individuals, couple of 10 or 20 people there representing the entire constituency. And sometimes I understand why they feel that way. Yeah, they've given up on the system. They feel like whatever they say will not be captured. It's an exercise in futility. Nyinyi mshaamua and all that. That is the notion that is outside there. But it is.
Because there's need to change it, which begs the question now. This matter that has been led by your age groups, okay, the one we call the accountability factor, the accountability protest, okay. Is it helping change views? Is it helping move people towards the citizenry being more educated, more sensitized to these matters?
We hold a very critical position, not just to sensitize them, but also to guide them towards what might also be beneficial to them in future. Today, everybody on every kijana wants to know what has the government planned. But there's another, Kiswahili tunasemaga ukiota kidole kimoja mbele, kuna vitatu vinakuangalia, vinne. Now these four that look at us is that we the people are mandated by the Constitution to steer how the budget is supposed to be spent. And by that is during public participations. But you ask ourselves, how many of us, vijana, actually participate during those public participations and give our views and issues as to what should be done by government? When the booklet comes, it comes, of course, sometimes, and most of the times I should say, it comes during that day. Most of the times I've been in public participations, when I was part of the executive, and even now, they would just say, hii imekuja kuchelewa, but there has to be a time when the people would say, hii document imekuja kuchelewa, we're not being part of this thing, go back. Bring it to us so that we look at it. So right now, I'm sure the country, there's that mood of we will reject and reject and reject. But again, are we following the due process of the law? Once you've said, tumeona, kai kama leo tunataka sisi, atujisikii na acha tuende zetu. You know what you've done is, the executive of the assembly has taken pictures. They have said people came. There are 2 or 3 who spoke, and that is it. But there has to be a time when these young boys and girls, we the young boys and girls, and even the elderly, should now start knowing what the law says and what is their stake in the contribution of development, or even, as you say, recurrent issues that affect their lives. But otherwise, government is made of the same people who equally have interests. They want you to fail in your mandate so that they can benefit. So where have we failed as the people in this process? Because we equally have a stake to make sure that the government runs well.
How many young people are there in this assembly?
We are about 14 of us.
14 out of 31.
Yeah.
By young, you say at heart or by young?
By age, sindio?
Yeah, the age.
Yeah,
35 and
35 and below. We are about 14 or 12. The youth caucus.
Should be less than that.
Less than that, 12.
Yeah. Elected.
Both elected and nominated.
Even nominated.
Yeah.
Elected kwa kidogo.
Elected, no, nominated is just one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, go on. Your second part of that question.
As a caucus that represents the future, because that's what youthfulness does, it actually represents the future. When you meet in this caucus of yours, how exactly do you plan to ensure that Mombasa actually changes and that the mandate that you have as leaders and that the county has and the responsibility it bears for the people is actually carried out?
The current and past regimes have always had their way towards resource distribution.
Yeah.
And why that happens is until now, there is no place in law which says counties should get this wards should get this percentage of resources. Akuna. And as a caucus, which I did a motion actually last week, and it passed. We sit down as a caucus. By the end of the day, one person has to carry the motion. So I was given the mandate to carry the motion for equitable distribution of resources in the wards. So what we are doing to try and shape up things in Mombasa County so that wards actually get their share is, one, we did a motion on equitable distribution of resources, which then mandated the executive not just to do a public participation, but to inculcate what the people say in budgeting for their monies. And it's not about distribution of monies equally on equity basis. What do the people need? Which ward is more developed and which ward needs to be taken from the dirt and taken way up? So the ward equitable share motion, ilipita. The next thing is we are doing a bill so that the governor now, it will be mandatory for him. He's compelled to make sure that happens.
Fantastic.
But tukiacha hivi, governor is ni mwanadamu. If tukikosana mimi na yeye, Bamburi will not get development. So you want to make it lazima. Apeleke pesa kwa ward.
A very good move. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today, and we wish you all the best. Yeah, someone has said, if there's anybody who had any doubt about youthful leadership emerging in Mombasa, well, there it is, and it's true. That we can see the young leaders who are coming up in Mombasa, articulate, passionate. I hope you'll get more and more, convert even the ones that are currently in that assembly to be as passionate and think about service delivery for the people, as many as possible. Patrick Mbele, MCA Bamburi Ward, Abdulrahman Hussein, ati unaitwa Anza Fresh.
Anza Fresh.
Basi.
That's my political slogan.
MCA Old Town. They have been our guests. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation today. See you again tomorrow, God willing. It's 10 a.m.